they're trying to say I don't deserve to fight with Floyd. But let's be real honest. I deserve to fight with Floyd more than Errol Spence deserves to fight with Keith one-time Thurman. Okay?
Keith, we've heard Amir Khan has little, sing-alongs and jokes about you. You're sometime Keith Thurman. You're not worthy. Is that a guy you're looking at going, I want him because he's a name. He gives me money, and he's a guy I can become a bigger star outside of the United States?
He's a great fight. He's a great fight for the name. He's a great fight for the fans. There's plenty of people that think Amir Khan has all the skills and talent to expose Keith one-time Thurman. So let's take care of that. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. Let's be honest. Amir Khan has more to offer than Errol Spence. What does he have to offer? Absolutely nothing.
The only thing is that Floyd is not standing behind Amir Khan and challenging.
So I'm exactly. Yeah. So how about I stand behind somebody and then get Floyd to fight that person because I feel like saying.
Make him put his foot in his mouth.
No, look. I don't mind making him put his foot in his mouth. Someone told me that he bet on Guerrero. I hope he did. I hope he lost that money. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind putting his foot in his mouth. But in reality, I'd rather put my own fist in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So why am I going to fight somebody who doesn't deserve the fight at this time? And it's just not logical. The only momentum to let's be real honest once again. If I should fight a fighter because someone just states that I should do it, then how come he doesn't fight me? Because I've been stating the day I hit HBO that I want Floyd Money Mayweather. The day I knock out a nobody and I call out a somebody, how come that somebody doesn't fight me? But this kid knocking out nobodies, calling out a somebody, but I should take that. Let's be real, let's be honest. If you want to let's treat every fighter equally. You know what I'm saying? If you made me work, let him fight Diego Chavez. Let him fight any one fighter. Let him fight 1 to 2 fighters that I fought. And then let's really have this real conversation about Errol, the True Spence, whatever his name is. You know what I mean? If you're the truth, I speak truth. I got no problem fighting you. You, me, Al, we can all sit down at a table. I got no problem fighting you. Bring your Uncle Floyd, and let's negotiate that the winner automatically fights him so that he proves to the world that he will fight any undefeated fighter, not just Latino fighters, which have a certain style that he's accustomed to since the amateurs. Please stop with these questions real quick because I'm getting heated because I keep it real and I keep it honest.
Have you talked to Al and Ellerby about a Mayweather fight at all?
There ain't no, why I gotta talk about an Ellerby? Well, we talked to Al Heyman, that's the only man to talk to. You know what I'm saying? And Al ain't gonna do nothing, Al's not gonna put nothing on Floyd. Al works for all of his fighters. You gotta understand how difficult of a job that is, right? To work on the greater half of all of your fighters. That means if I want to fight him, but he don't want to fight me, he ain't gonna make the fight. You know, it's that simple.
Let's switch topics a bit. Obviously, we're here at the Danny Garcia Malignaggi fight.
Yeah.
Garcia's resume at 140 is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Should he beat Malignaggi? Is that fight enticing enough for you or big enough for you to take him on before the end of the year?
I mean, first you got to ask him if he's trying to fight another time before the end of the year, right? Well, what's Danny's schedule going to look like, right? That's another thing for all these big fights is a lot of times it has to do with timing. You know what I mean? Both fighters have to be willing to get in camp around the same time and perform on the same day. You know, anybody. I mean, you should already know. Anybody that steps up from the swimming pool, from the 140 pool into the 147 pool, you know, I got my eyes straight locked up on it. Like, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't really going to do nothing without talking about me eventually, or you talking to them about me, so someone's going to talk about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bad man. You know, I'm going to stay a bad man. I got nowhere to go. But at the time, I plan on taking over the welterweight division. And even if I wasn't the best fighter in the welterweight division, you best believe that I'm one of the best. And I'm going to be testing everybody that steps into that ring, man. What I'm doing and what I've been doing is nothing new. And I'm only getting better at my craft, man. You guys are literally watching an intelligent fighter become more more of an even more intelligent fighter, you know, who has devastating punching power. You know, I have really enjoyed evolving. My last fight, it got stopped in the 7th round without a knockdown, right? So some people wonder, you know what, oh, Thurman really didn't hurt him or whatever. You gotta understand, some of these boys are tough, but when they take that hit, boom, and they try to come back, and they get that mean little face or whatever, like they ate that punch. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand. They're not eating regular punches. They're walking through bricks. And some fighters can take a brick. They might take 2 bricks. And I call those kind of fighters brick-headed, okay? Now what happens when you take 1 brick and another brick and you smash them together? Guess what? Both bricks start to crumble, right? That's why I have so many hand injuries, okay? That's why I've had shoulder injuries, because my power is so devastating that it doesn't only hurt my opponent, but it hurts the person that wields the power. It's physically overwhelming for my own body. So when Collazo was walking through some of those big punches, he was walking through bricks. In the 7th round, I know for a fact that I shook him up 3 times. He was already cut up. He got double cut. I was hitting him repeatedly, and he had enough damage, and he knew that he was not going to survive 5 more rounds in the ring with Keith one-time Thurman.
Keith,
What did you relish
That the 1 body punch, and then about 12 seconds after, there was another one that clipped me in the same spot. So there was 2 body punches. That first one was and the second one was you know, they were not friendly. They were not pretty. From a sports perspective, especially on that slow-mo, it was beautiful, right? That was a beautiful punch, you know. But it actually landed because it was a well-timed punch. He was coming down. I was landing a lot. If anybody wants to go back and rewatch the 5th round, right? I was landing a lot of straight right hands. So I was getting very comfortable, which a right-hander, that's what they want. We want to land the right hand against a southpaw. So I was getting very comfortable with that punch, and it was landing more frequently that round. Well, towards the end, the way his head was coming down, I was like, here it is again, take it. I went to go take it. His head passed by, I missed the punch, and before I came in, he was already bringing the swing, and it came under the elbow. So if I simply just didn't extend myself, I would have been able to protect myself. But because I was extended in that moment, I was wide open, I suffered the body shot, I ate the body shot, I took the body shot, recovered from the body shot, and that's what champions do. It took the rest period, right? It took the rest period, and then for safety precaution on my own behalf, I took the first half of the 6th round off for 2 reasons. 1, my own safety. 2, to see how eager he wanted to come out and take advantage of what he just did to me, which he did not take advantage of the moment. So once when I realized he did not want to press further, and I gave myself a 1.5 minutes in the 6th round, for the next 1.5 minutes of that 6th round, you'll see instantly I go right back to work.
you relish knockouts? Record, he's running to record. He had 176 KOs. Yeah. Is that what you relish more doing than anything else? You look for knockouts, or they come in because of the strength?
It's that's why my name is One Time. Ben used to say all the time that nobody is going to take your power for 12 rounds. Now, that means is as long as I'm landing clean and effective blows, round after round after round after round, they most likely will not be there. When you watch the fights that I did go 12 rounds, those fighters, in comparison to everybody else I fought, had better defense. What's the #1 rule in boxing? Protect yourself at all times. So when I do not produce a knockout, I say that it is not my bad, but the other fighter's good. That he was intelligent enough to protect himself at all times. You know, and with with skill that even when I tried to force my will upon him, he was able to stay calm, cool, collective, and protective.
Keith, two guys who are looking
That when Floyd got hit and rocked by Mosley, that he got heralded for making it through that round, and the popular opinion is that you lost stock when you were the body shot, and that you had a bad fight, even though you got a knockout ultimately in the TKO. You think that's unfair?
I mean, let's be honest. How many of these people are making comments that actually boxed before a day in their life? Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? So, in my honesty, I'm going to recap and educate you on what Keith One Time Thurman is all about. I'm all about that one time. And one time represents my punching power, but it also represents the sport of boxing as a whole. That any man who puts on 8-ounce gloves versus another man with 8-ounce gloves is subjectable to being hit with one shot that might change the whole perspective of the fight. That's the beauty of the sport. That's what people come to watch. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you can cheer for whoever you came to cheer for, but if you don't know that fighter personally, if you ain't an uncle, auntie, friend, if you didn't go to high school with that dude, I'm pretty sure all you really care about is seeing a good fight. Because I've seen it tons of times where someone's supposed to be in one corner, but as soon as the other dudes put on the action, they start cheering for him because all they want to see is action. All you want to see is the gladiators. You want to see both men get physically hurt. Otherwise, why was Brandon Rios versus whoever the fight of the year like 3 or 4 years ago? That ugly fight, right? Because they both stood there and beat each other up. And the fans love that. The phone booth fights. The fans love that. Mike Alvarado. But the sport is called boxing. And the definition of boxing from somebody who's been boxing since they were 7 years old is to hit and not get hit. But as I'm hitting you, I'm looking for that one punch that changes the whole fight. That's what Keith One Time Thurman is about. 26-0 with 22 knockouts. Believe whatever you want to believe. Fight by fight, round by round, you'll understand that I am who I say I am.
Keith, two guys who've asked for a fight with you. I know one of them is a guy in the whole Heyman camp. That's Lamont Peterson. The other guy is Provodnikov. Are either of those guys on your radar in terms of if Khan, Brook fall through, if Mayweather keeps ducking you, are they on maybe the list of fighters you want to fight?
I mean, it possibly could be. I know. I think some people might really enjoy Provodnikov's fight. You can just tell in the demeanor of how I'm answering this question that I'm not enthusiastic about it. You know what I'm saying? I have my eyes set somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Is it a possibility? Yes, it's a possibility. And if it is presented to me, I will diligently think about it and possibly consider it, especially weighing whatever else is on the table. What really matters is what's on the table. A lot of people don't know how fights get negotiated, but just to let you know what happened to me this year, when I got offered to fight Robert Guerrero, I was also offered to fight Chris Algieri, and I took Robert Guerrero. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who had a better resume, in my opinion. When I fought Bundu, I was offered Frankie Gavin, but I took Bundu, the undefeated European champion. Maybe it wasn't Frankie Gavin, it was some other kid from
Frankie Gavin.
Frankie Gavin's from the UK though, right?
Yes.
No, I was offered a fight with somebody from Canada. My bad. It wasn't Frankie Gavin. It was a fighter from Canada who had a decent record with 2 losses. You know what I'm saying? But Bundu had 0 losses. So normally I weigh the scale and I pick my opponent based on whoever has the best resume on whomever was presented to me. Now, my last fight was the first time in my career where they said, Keith, we got something for you. I said, okay, well, what's on the table? They said, Louis Collazo. I said, all right, what's there? They said, well, we just kind of see Louis Collazo right now. There was one name brought up to me in the negotiation, and you can ask the Watsons, you can ask Sam and everything. When a fight is proposed to me, a real fight where I know I'm going to see a legitimate sheet of paper that's there to sign, I say yes. I've never said no to any fight. I'm a yes man. You know what I'm saying? I told people 1,000 times, I have an O and I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me, beat me. when my mama used to beat me. I remember when my daddy used to beat me. Can you beat me? And yes, that was a long time ago.
Keith, if Berto shocks the world